to the channel. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today, we have a little bit of focus, and that is it. Focus, clean. So good. So good, guys. So, today, we're going to be talking about Nikon. And is Nikon's house of cards falling or becoming more secure? Now, there was a couple of press releases that came out that I want to talk to you guys about. Also, I've read something over on Nikon Rumors. They did a translation from, I think it was Japanese to English from the Nikai site, which ended up being like a hot mess. But I want to get into it a little bit with you guys. But before I do, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded my ebook as of yet, go check it out. 10 tips at making tack-sharp images. There's something there for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're a professional, a pro-am, or a amateur. You're going to learn something. Go over to JCristina.com/ebook. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. 10 tips at making tack-sharp images. Go grab it. It is free. Nothing's better than free, right? So anyways, Nikon is adopting a more top-down approach, guys. They are doing away with some of their departments, let's say, in this reorganization. They were talking about reorganization last year. Well, now, as of 2 or 3 days ago, they're doing more reorganization, and they're creating this new department or division called the Office of the President. And they're getting rid of a bunch of different divisions and departments and putting them all under this one office of the president. And I'll get into that in just a moment. Now, what I want to do is I want to read to you real quick this Nikai translation, just so you understand where I'm coming from with this and what we're talking about and why I'm doing this piece. Because I think it's important to really kind of dial into or hone down the data that we get and have a discussion about it. Now, what I'm going to tell you might be wrong. And if you are a Japanese translator, you might be like, Joe, you just don't got it right, which is a possibility. But I'm going to give you my information based on doing this for so many damn years. And then you let me know where I'm off. So let's get into this Nikai translation here. So it says, Nikon issued a notice regarding, quote, recognition of a gain on sales of an investment security. Nikon basically recorded a gain of 20.3 billion yen on the sale of an emerging U.S. stocks. Quote, Nikon Corporation announced on the 2nd that it will sell securities and record a gain on sale of 20.3 billion yen in the non-consolidated financial results for the financial year ending March 2021. The shares of a U.S. startup company, remember that, U.S. startup company, that had been invested since 2016 were sold. It adopts International Financial Report Standards, which is IFRS, and has no impact on consolidated final profit and loss. Now remember, we were talking about that March of 2021 was the end of their fiscal year. We're talking Nikon. Anyways, it continues by saying, increase asset efficiency and strengthen finances. This is what this is supposed to do. It sold its stake in Berkeley Lights in the U.S. on the 1st relative to financial institutions. I have not a clue what that is saying, but we'll continue. The company has strengths in semiconductor and optical technologies and handles equipment that automates cell culture and sorting. So, this is where I got this information from. It was originally from that Nikai report. And the translation, if you do the translation, is literally a one-to-one translation. This is exactly what it says when you Google Translate, and that's what everyone does. That's what Nikon Rumor does. That's what all these different sites do. They do a one-to-one translation from, let's say, Japanese, and they post it. And a lot of times, it's a hot-ass mess. And this is kind of like that, a little bit. What really stood out to me is that it sold stakes in this Berkeley Lights company. And I'm like, what the hell is Berkeley Lights? And I'm Googling it. I'm like, I'm not finding anything. And then finally it dawned on me. Back in 2016 and 2018, I did a few pieces about Nikon investing in this company. And in October of 2016, I talked about Nikon investing $10 million in this company called Berkeley Lights. Not rights, Berkeley Lights. And I talked about it being this kind of biotech type of thing. And then in 2018, I did another piece right around, I think it was February of 2018. I did another piece about Nikon entering into this strategic business cooperation with this company, Berkeley Lights. And at that time, they gave another $30 million investment. So now Nikon is into this company $40 million. That was as of 2018. Well, if you don't know who this Berkeley Lights people are, I looked it up and they are BLI. That's the symbol. And they were established in 2011. They are an American-based corporation that provides services like biomedicine and genome analysis and cell treatments and all this type of thing. They're a biotech company, basically. Well, during that 2018 press release, Nikon indicated that it will, quote, expand the solutions already provided by Nikon in cell-related fields such as the development of antibody drugs as well as regenerative medicines. That's 2018. Nikon was ahead of the curve with this thing. Think about that. They were ahead of the curve. 2018. Biotech, that's their thing. I've talked about this before. A lot of these companies you think are camera manufacturers and that's it. They're into biomed and they're into biotech heavy. So 2018, they were working with this company. It also says that in addition to selling the Beacon platform, I'll tell you about that in a second, Nikon will provide technical support and applications corresponding to customers' requests for the Beacon platform in Japan. Now that Beacon platform, let me pull up a picture. This Beacon platform, it says it reduces the time needed for research and development of new drugs and regenerative medicine thanks to the ability to significantly reduce workflow times. So it's this big contraption, all right, that does cellular stuff. Let's just boil it down. Well, that all sounds good, right? Well, it sounded good in 2016. It sounded good in 2018. Well, 2021, as of a couple of days ago, it's not so good anymore, according to Nikon. Why do I say that? Well, like we said at the very beginning, Nikon decided to sell all of its shares in BLI. The company, Berkeley Lights, that they put $40 million into and they made this partnership with, let's say, this cooperation, as they call it. So the press release says, in quote, it says, Nikon Corporation announced on the 2nd that it will sell securities and record a gain on sale of 20.3 billion yen in a non-consolidated financial results for the fiscal year ending March 2021. The shares of the U.S. startup company that had been invested since 2016 were sold. How do you release something like that? Does that sound a little bit odd? Okay. Why do I say that? Well, is it a startup company? I mean, I don't know. A U.S. startup company that was started in 2011, Nikon invested in 2016, invested again in 2018, became like a partner with and facilitated all types of things with them. They're selling this U.S. startup company's shares. I mean, it's just weird. To me, it's disingenuous. A 10-year-old company is not a startup, all right? I mean, that's like saying Google is still in beta. It's just kind of, it's kind of ridiculous, in my personal opinion. I don't know. Maybe you will come up with something else. But now, number 2, they made 20.3 billion yen. And when you do the math, that's $187 million. Think about that. They made $187 million. That is, once again doing the math, 368% profit over their $40 million that they put into it. Of course, you have to take off any type of expenses and costs and all the rest of the stuff as you would in business. But that's a pretty good amount of money to be made. So the question here is, why is Nikon selling this cash cow? So the only thing I can think of is option 1 is that seeing that biomed is doing so well, biotech is doing so well, they see the writing on the wall that it might start going down because now the virus is starting to get a little bit more controlled. We're putting out a lot more antiviral stuff as well as, of course, now we have a vaccine and whatnot. So maybe now it's time to take the profit. That would be option number one, I would say. Well, option number two is maybe Nikon's in some dire straits and those house of cards are actually falling and they can use an injection of $187 million today. Because remember, March, this month, 2021, they posted the biggest loss I've seen in a long time. I think the biggest in any camera manufacturer, of over $700 million loss in profit. So it's a chunk. That's not a little bit. That's a chunk. That's not break even or going negative by, $100 million. We're just 700, almost $750 million loss in profit. So that 187 million injection is probably not a bad thing selling those stock as of right now. So remember, like I was saying, reorganization is happening over at Nikon, and we have to use that as a means of deciding what's going on here. That reorganization of the corporation structure has been happening last year a lot, but now, just a few days ago, it's being really revamped once again. Now, what they're doing is they just recently announced that they're changing directors, they're changing their officers, they're changing the assignments. In other words, where they're working and what they're doing, and that goes back into that office of the president. So this is all going to take effect April 1st, according to what I'm reading in the reports. April 1st, we're going to see that creation of that office of the president, and then we're going to see those other divisions like I talked about before. Matter of fact, I put a list here. Group governance and administrative division will be gone. Corporate strategy division will also be gone, and the corporate sustainability department will also be gone. So those are all going to go away, and they're going to funnel in some of those people that worked in these divisions and in these departments into that office of the president. Let me bring up a top-down look at this. You see this table? So you can get an idea of what's going on here and how that office of the president is really at the top, just below the board of directors and the representative director and the president executive committee. So they are like at the top. They're going to be controlling a lot of what's going on over there at Nikon. So this, once again, reorganization. Now, what they say here is Nikon's Office of the President was created to strengthen the functions of the corporate strategy, supporting and monitoring each business, as well as accelerating M&A and growth of the new businesses to the core. Now, M&A, if you don't know, is mergers and acquisitions. So that's what the Office of the President is going to be doing here. Is it the kind of thing that Nikon is just trying to create a model where there's just less chefs in the kitchen? We know too many chefs in the kitchen spoil the brew. Sometimes you need to consolidate and say, just this guy is going to decide what's going on, or just this committee, and that's all, or just reduce the number of divisions and departments and all the rest of this stuff. Because sometimes things get a little bit haywire and crazy, and we can see Nikon is consolidating. They're doing that restructuring, but they're doing a consolidation also, which I think is a very smart thing to do. Once again, going full circle, is this good or is this bad? I want to know from you. I want to know what you guys think. Now we know that it's Berkeley Lights and not Berkeley Rights, that no one knows what the hell it is. We're kind of getting an idea of what's going on. What was the company it was sold? How much they sold it for? How much did Nikon make? Now what? What do you think about the House of Cards? So many people have been poo-pooing on Nikon for the last month or two, saying that they're going out of business, basically. And my question to you, is that the case? Are we seeing them really, those House of Cards tumbling all around them? Or do we see a company now that's kind of adding a stronger base to the company to hold those cards up? I want to know what you think. Now remember, I don't read Japanese, I don't translate Japanese. The only reason I knew this was just incorrect is because I did pieces on them. I reported on this stuff back in 2016 and 2018. I've kind of been doing this for a while, and it brought back memory to what I was talking about at the time, and then I did some more research and I figured out what was going on here. But if you have a better knowledge or understanding of what's going on in the comment area, put it down there. This is not a one-directional, commentary. All right, I'll give you my thoughts, my ideas, and then we have a educated discussion based on what you guys know over than what I know. That's pretty much it, guys. Like I always say, like, subscribe, share the video with friends and family and colleagues. Click the little bell icon over here. That's a little notification button. So when I go live or I come up with a new video, you will be notified of it immediately. Also, once again, don't forget to grab my ebook over at JCristina.com/ebook, 10 tips at making tack sharp images. And if you want to help the channel in any way, even a little bit, become a member. Click the little join button right down here. You become a member. It's $1, $2, $5, whatever you want to give to help out the channel grow, and I'm able to give you perks for doing so. Also, once we're done talking down here in the comment area, join me over at our creative Discord server. Head over to community.jcristina.com. community.jcristina.com. It's a creative Discord server for all of us just to hang out and chat. 24/7, 365 days a year, no trolls. We're talking tech, we're talking photo, we're talking video, all kinds of things. So go check that out. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. Once again, JCristina.com. So, since you've been here all the way to the end, listening to my rant and nonsense, please use promo code YT20 at checkout. Once again, promo code YT20 at checkout. You'll get 20% off everything that's in your shopping cart. Or, of course, you can find all of the products that I've invented over the many years at B&H Photo, over at Amazon, and a lot of small retailers around the world. So, guys, that's it. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one.